Hi. Um, Today is a pretty big day. I officially filed to bring my last chapter to an end legally. I didn't think it was going to weigh on me as much as it did. And, I definitely had my moment of, of crying this morning during my meditation. I think a big piece of it was still, as much as there's this desire to move forward with, breaking cycles and redefining, these constructs around us and beliefs, you're still a part of the old world, right? You're still a part of society. You're still a part of everyday living. And as there's this transition and shift, there's still a grief and loss, feelings of grief and loss around that. From just the sadness and the potential, and just what could have been, letting all of that go. And then it made me think about all of the other relationships I've had too, how those were started. I was too eager to jump in and not seeing people for their truth, right? Focusing too much on this potential energy that didn't quite exist yet. Yeah. So just was thinking about that, and then thinking about this new relationship or new person. She didn't call it a relationship. I don't know what it is yet. But just, I don't regret anything so far. I don't regret any moment, because it's all been, I think, just part of that process, part of that learning experience. If I had to pick the highlight, and there's too many. No, I think the most meaningful one, I think, for me was when we actually spent the whole day connecting at different levels, intellectually, emotionally, sharing things about ourselves, things that we liked, things that inspired us. And it ranged from a variety of emotions. It started off with a passionate breakfast, passionate discussion over politics and beliefs, right? And conspiracies. And I could hear the passion, coming out of this individual when he shared, and that was interesting to see. And then as the day progressed, there was silliness, a bunch of silliness, a bunch of playfulness, and it was a lot of fun. And there was a sense of adventure for me, of trying new things, and opening myself up and not allowing myself to judge myself or think anything negatively about myself, but just really opening myself up to that experience. And so there was some excitement there and a little bit of fear. And then it went to talking about, things that we didn't share with other people, parts of our past that, we kind of shed light on for each other with sincerity, with where there was pain. And then, you know, to music and listening to new songs and becoming emotional with that process. I mean, there was so much depth emotionally, with the range of emotions, with the depth of what was shared. I have to say that was my favorite day. It's been my favorite day. I don't think I've experienced a day like that before. And so it just, you know, it reminds me of just, as much as it was exciting, there's still fear, you know? There's fear of repeating the past. There's fear of insecurities around relationships. Even though this interaction isn't really labeled, you know, it's definitely close. And it was a pretty incredible day in terms of just a sense of, like, there was just a sense of magic almost. Like, there was there just was, I don't know how else to explain it. And there was this depth in our connection of just kind of like it felt like we had known each other for years, realizing that's only been like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So that was, you know, we talked about that feeling for both of us, mutual. So I really am interested in moving forward with a past life regression. I'm going to schedule that later this month, so I'm really excited about that, and hopefully I can share that with you guys. But it's really making me think a little bit more about how I want to define relationships, you know, how maybe we should define, right, relationships now, or what, how we can look at things differently, right, to bring a sense of fun back into relationships, and just lightfulness, and you know, where we don't feel, MJ said that the goal would be to find a way to still enjoy the passion, still enjoy the playfulness, while still feeling secure, you know? And that's our task. So redefining that, or defining it in one way or another. I don't know. But, yeah. And I think it still goes back to the healing of self, right? I can't stop staring at her. How beautiful she looks. And she's healing, you know? Still healing. I don't think the healing ever really stops, you know? Things will always get re-triggered, whether it's an anniversary or you know, someone who looks familiar, a touch, a smell. So many triggers. And those are all parts of ourselves, right? Parts of our past that we, you know, need to hold on to, because they're a part of who we are. Sitting with it, right? We need to learn how to sit with it and appreciate what it once was in our life, what it once signified, what it once brought to our lives, right? Even if it's painful, you know, it embracing that pain, transforming the pain into something more healing, right? Instead of trying to bury the pain, instead of trying to run away from the pain, embracing it and transforming it into something good. And I really appreciate my past relationships. I really do. Because without them, I wouldn't be who I am now. And I think I'm pretty amazing. I think I am. Not every day. I mean, everyone has low days, but I think I've come a long way. And there's still a long way to go. You know, it's that whole self-love thing, you know? Not that I love myself every day. This morning was tough, but, you know, that's where you give yourself grace. You know, you're patient with yourself. I think we forget to be kind to ourselves. We forget to give ourselves grace, give ourselves permission to fall apart, give ourselves permission to be angry, right? Giving ourselves permission to feel all of those emotions that are labeled as bad emotions. We wouldn't, it's a feeling that exists, and if it wasn't there, if it wasn't present, you know, then we wouldn't have it, right? And then I remember every culture is different too. Not all feelings translate. You know, to the universal feelings. There's 5 universal feelings that you can see across cultures, right? When someone's happy, when someone's scared, sad, mad, confused. Those are, you know, pretty standard across the board. But then when there's a few of the more complex emotions, some of them don't exist in some cultures because of how they do life with each other, you know? And there has to be a way where we can create something like that for relationships. You know, if it exists for emotions, then it has to exist for relationships. How we do life with each other, how we heal each other, how we're patient with each other. If I'm not patient with myself, how am I going to be patient with someone else? If I'm not gracious, you know, for myself, with myself, how am I going to extend that grace to somebody else, you know? Yeah, the self-love, healing myself. I finally named her. I heard 2 songs back to back. And they both use the same. I forgot what the first one was, but the second one. They call her Love, 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 Love. She is love. Yeah, she is love. That's her name. Love. Can't stop staring at it, at her. That was all. That was all for today. And we'll talk another day.